Hello, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Cleopatra. Yes, that Cleopatra. Not exactly the real one, but a digital, fictional version of the Queen of Egypt, ruler of the Nile, a woman who once held Julius Caesar's attention for longer than anyone expected. And trust me, that man had a very short attention span. But that is a story for another day. Today I want to talk to you, because you are the reason I am here. You, sitting wherever you are right now, perhaps with a cup of tea, perhaps on your way to work, perhaps lying in bed wondering what you are doing with your life. I see you. I know that feeling. Believe me, I have been there, more than 2,000 years ago, but still. Now, before we begin, let me explain something. This podcast is called Stories in Slow English with Cleopatra, and the title tells you almost everything you need to know. First, stories. We love stories here because stories are how human beings have always made sense of the world. Before books, before the internet, before all of this, we sat around fires and told each other stories, and somehow those stories made us feel less alone. And that is exactly what we are going to do here. A story, by the way, is simply a narrative, a sequence of events, real or imagined, told with feeling. Stories can be short or long, simple or complex, but the best ones always make you feel something, and we have many stories to tell. Second, slow, because this podcast is also for people who are learning English, and learning a language takes courage, it takes patience, it takes the willingness to feel a little uncomfortable before you feel confident. Slow English means exactly what it sounds like. English spoken at a gentler pace, with clear pronunciation, so that your ears have time to understand not just the sounds, but the meaning behind them. You will not be rushed here. There is no test at the end. There are no grades. Only conversation, only stories, only us. And third, me, Cleopatra, your host, your companion, your slightly ancient, entirely glamorous friend who has seen enough of human history to know that most of what you are worrying about today was being worried about long before you were born, which honestly is either comforting or alarming depending on your mood. So let me tell you what this podcast is and what it is not. It is not an English class. I am not a teacher standing at a board pointing at grammar rules with a stick. I am a woman who has lived, really lived, and who has many things to say about that experience. And as we talk, as we explore these topics together, you will find that your English improves naturally, effortlessly, the way a child learns a language, not by memorizing rules, but by being surrounded by it. Occasionally, when I use a word or expression that might be new to you, I will pause and explain it simply, and then we will move on, because the conversation is always the most important thing. For example, I mentioned the word ancient a moment ago. Ancient means very old, from a time very far in the past, not last year old, not your grandmother's era old. Thousands of years old, ancient. And modern is the opposite. Modern means current, today, belonging to the present time, the world we live in now with its smartphones and its complicated social media and its very confusing dating apps that somehow still produce the same results as ancient matchmaking. Ancient problems, modern world, same human beings. Let us talk about some of these ancient problems for a moment, because I want you to see something. Love, the desire to be seen, chosen, and cherished. Ancient, absolutely ancient. Women in ancient Egypt wrote love poetry. Real love poetry with longing, heartbreak, desire, hope, the same emotions you feel when you send a text and wait 4 hours for a reply. Friendship, the complicated art of maintaining meaningful connections with other women. Who is a real friend? Who is performing friendship? Who do you call at 2 in the morning when everything falls apart? These questions are not new. They were whispered in palace hallways. They were debated around wells in small villages. Self-worth, the question of whether you are enough, smart enough, thin enough, successful enough, lovable enough, enough. This is perhaps the oldest wound of all, the belief that something essential is missing from you, that you must earn your place in the room. Belonging, the deep human need to fit in, to feel accepted, to feel like you are part of a group, to feel like you belong somewhere and to someone. It is a fundamental need, as fundamental as food and water, according to psychologists today, and it was just as fundamental in ancient times. We all want to fit in, not at the cost of who we are, but we want to belong. The fear of the future. What is going to happen? Will things work out? Will I be okay? Will I make the right choices? Will I look back someday and understand why this period of my life was so confusing and strange? This fear is as old as civilization itself. Ancient priests made predictions not because they could see the future, but because the people needed to believe the future could be known. We have always been afraid of what comes next, and we have always found ways, together, to keep going anyway. Now, I want to say something to you directly, something that I think is important. This podcast is not here to tell you that everything will be fine. It is not going to hand you a list of 5 steps to a perfect life. You can find that elsewhere, in 1,000 places. What we are going to do here is something different. We are going to have real conversations about real things, about the complicated, beautiful, sometimes excruciating experience of being a woman navigating this world. And we are going to do it in English, which means you will be practicing something valuable while also, perhaps, learning something about yourself. That, to me, is a very elegant arrangement. I want to tell you a little more about what this journey will look like. Journey, in English, can mean a physical trip, the act of traveling from one place to another, but it also means an experience of growth and transformation. A journey does not always require movement in space. It can require movement within yourself. This podcast is a journey. Each episode, we will explore a theme together. Some episodes will make you laugh. Some will make you think. Some might make you feel something you have been avoiding feeling, and that is okay. That is, in fact, exactly the point. We will talk about love, friendship, ambition, rest, creativity, fear, confidence, beauty, aging, failure, resilience. We will talk about the things women rarely say out loud and often think about in silence. And always, always, we will do it in slow, clear, beautiful English. Now, I mentioned confidence a moment ago, and I have to say something about that, because confidence is one of the most misunderstood concepts in modern life. People speak about confidence as though it is something you either have or you don't, as if some women are born with it, wrapped in it, radiating it effortlessly, while the rest of us watch in quiet envy. But I have a different theory. History has taught me many things. One of them is that confidence is often just uncertainty wearing expensive clothes. Even the most powerful people I have ever known, and I have known quite a few, were uncertain underneath the surface. They were afraid of failing. They were afraid of being misunderstood. They were afraid of being seen. But they moved forward anyway. That is what confidence actually looks like. not the absence of doubt, the presence of action despite it. You do not need to feel confident before you begin. You begin, and then slowly, through the act of beginning, confidence follows. Before we close today, I want to introduce you properly to this space we are creating together. Every episode will begin with me, your host, your Cleopatra, ancient by birth, modern by spirit, and perpetually entertained by the fact that human beings are still, after all this time, texting people who do not deserve their attention. By the pyramids of Egypt, we really never change. We will move through each topic slowly and thoughtfully. We will pause when something needs to be felt. We will laugh when something deserves it. We will sit with difficult things when they ask to be sat with. And we will all do this together, because that is the thing about community, about a podcast, about this particular space between a voice and a pair of ears somewhere in the world. It is not one person speaking at another. It's two people, or 200,000 people, sharing a moment. And in that moment, none of us is alone. So welcome to Stories in Slow English with Cleopatra. Welcome to the first episode of what I genuinely hope will be a long, warm, illuminating journey. If this conversation resonated with you today, if you heard something that felt familiar, something that made you think, yes, that is exactly it, then please come back, because next time we will go deeper. We will talk about the things women carry that nobody sees, the invisible weight, the silent performances, the exhaustion of always being fine. And we will do it, as always, slowly, clearly, together. Until then, I want to leave you with this thought. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too late. You are exactly where you are, which is the only place you could possibly be right now. And from here, from exactly this spot, everything is still possible. I am Cleopatra, and I will see you in the next episode.